Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer. My friends call me Miss DeWalt. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made these really cute yard stakes that look like candy corns. I have several of them going up my front walk. This is something you could adapt to either go in your yard like I did, or maybe something that sits flat on a table. But it's just a really cute idea inspired by something I saw on Pinterest. So the basic supplies you're going to need are white, orange, and yellow paint. In this case, I had to use things I had on hand, and I happen to have white paint that you would use. This is actually exterior paint, but then I had spray paint as well. Both are Rust-Oleum, and the orange is actually, it's called Lobster Red, but it really has an orange color. And then the yellow is Summer Squash, but you can choose any paint colors that you have a liking to. You're probably going to need some type of either some fasteners, either screws or staples or brad nails. You might need a drill. You're going to need wood glue. You're going to need a miter saw, and you're going to need a tape measure. And I think that's it. So the first thing I did was found 3 pallet planks. They're about the same thickness. I would say this is probably about 3/4 inch. And they had like a little bit of a rounded edge, so I went ahead and ran them through my table saw and made sure I had a nice straight edge on each side. So I just laid the planks out and pretty much eyeballed it like a lot of the things I do. I just took a straight edge and thought, well, what would be a good angle to make my candy corn? So I just laid a straight edge out and drew it. So I took it over to my table saw and I set the angle, and it wound up what I drew and thought would be a good angle, and ended up being a 16-degree angle. So we're going to head over to my miter saw and I'll show you how I cut these templates. So this is my miter saw Delta Dawn that I rarely show in my videos because it's not DeWalt. Hopefully I'll be getting a new miter saw, but we have a history, me and this old girl. But anyway, I brought my boards over at this point, and I matched up the angle that I drew on the board, and I went ahead and matched it, and it ended up being about 16 degrees. And I went ahead and set it to the, I'm right-handed, so I set it this way. I went ahead and made a cut. I want to be able to use this board. Now there is a crack in it, so I'm actually going to make my cut right here, but I want to get as much use out of this board as I can. So anyway, there's my cut. And then what I did was flipped it over this way. And now I have my template from the first time, but when I was doing this originally, I just kind of eyeballed how wide I wanted this first piece to be. Okay, so this is just a general idea. When you go to do yours, you might make them larger or smaller. But I was left with, this is a 16-degree angle here. So you're gonna wanna flip the board and line it up. And you're gonna wanna make a mark. And then, like this. And then, same thing, you're gonna get your third piece. Okay, so then this next cut, you're gonna have, like, mine definitely has a smooth side and a rough side. So then the third cut, you're gonna make your mark on the front again. Okay, so there's my mark. Okay, so then at the end, you're gonna be left with your 3 template pieces. If you want to follow exactly the measurements that I used, at the top this is 2.5 inches, the second piece is 5 inches, and this is 7.5 inches across the top. But you can come up with whatever size. I'm just doing this video basically to give you a general idea. You might even decide you want to do this, but add an extra block or something on the back to make it sit on a table. Just to make repetitive cuts, it's easy once you have your 3, just to feel for the edges, line it up, Line up your saw. Okay, so at this point, before you paint, if you have any rough edges, this is pallet wood. When you cut through it, that's just what it does. So at this point, you might want to give it a little bit of a Okay, so the next step after everything has dried, and I don't know if I mentioned this in this cut, a lot of times when I'm filming I do several takes and pick my favorite, and I don't know if I mentioned that these boards are about 4 3/8 of an inch in width. So in case I forgot to mention that, here I am mentioning that now. But after they're all dry, it's just time to attach them to the board, and you can do this however you want. I personally used wood glue, and then I used brad nails, and I shot them in through the back. I picked a length of brad nail that was not going to puncture through the front of this, but you can use staples, you can use screws if that's what you have. Also, you have the choice. When I attached this, I made the top edge of the candy corn level with the stake, and then I painted this white to kind of camouflage it, and that way when you pound it into the ground, I was careful to try to hit it here. If you don't want that to show, you could always maybe leave like about an inch, but then what you would have to do is take like another board and like, obviously not this is just the one that's sitting around. You would have to use another board and then hit on that. So I didn't want to have to go through that. I just went ahead. It doesn't bother me that that's flush. Once it's, and actually that's like the same width. Once this is painted white, you couldn't see from the front anyway. It didn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this. Another reason I like lining it up with the top is that I can make sure that I have this straight. So I'm going to fire this bad boy up. Okay, and these don't look like they're going to go through the front. I think these things that I have in my gun are like 1 1/4 inches, but they appear that they're not going to go through the front. As always, I'm working in a pile. Now this, if you wanted to, you could kind of pre-assemble it. I don't have enough wood clamps in my shop. I always need more, but you could, before you attach it to the stake, I could have taken wood glue and clamped it together, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go like this. Line it up. I can visually tell that's even. As I'm looking down on this, it looks like I'm even from side to side. Didn't go through the front. Okay, we're in business. Okay, looks good. All right, so there's the first one. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this edge here, as well as on the stake. Okay, that lines up nicely. And you know, with just about any woodworking project, there are different ways to accomplish the same thing. Looks cute. Okay, and then a lot of what I do with my flags, I feel the ends for evenness. It's nice and even. And there you go. And then when you're done, they look exactly like that. So if you want this to go on a tabletop instead, all you would need to do would be to glue it and clamp it. And you might, I mean, it probably would stand on its own because this wood is thick enough, but if you wanted to give it more stability, you could attach another piece on back, and it would work like that too. So I hope that you take this idea and maybe do your own version. It would be cute to maybe mix up these color schemes. You know, when you buy the packages of candy corn, usually there's like a brown one, an orange, and a white. Sometimes there's like a different mix. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe and like this video, and I will see you next time. Thank you.